Welcome to the Awaken Heart Podcast. I'm your host, Nancy Walters. Get ready to create magic and miracles as you lean into your heart's desires. I believe not only does the heart want what it wants, but it knows. This show is a weekly deep dive into what it means to live from an awakened heart. I'll be sharing inspiring stories and real conversations with people just like you, who have turned the ordinary into the extraordinary. My mission is to show you how you too can be connected and heart-centered in every area of your life. Your journey to aligning with more love, more joy, and your wildest dreams come true starts now. Welcome back to the Awaken Heart Podcast. I'm your host, Nancy Walters, and today I thought I would just kind of check in to see how everyone's doing, take a temperature on how they're holding up on this never-ending pandemic, it seems. Here we are, almost October of 2021, and things keep rolling forward in this crazy, crazy world. And like I said, I know that there's like a lot of division happening across the country. How are you handling it? How are you coping with it? I mean, I swear to God, if you stay away from the news and, just go about your own life and just be in the moment, everything's wonderful. But as soon as you tune in to what is going on out there in this topsy-turvy world, it's just mind-blowing. So I thought I'd take a minute to address some of the things that have come up recently in our world and my take on it and all the information that I know to be true. So a really short episode on that. So as of today's September 30th, as I am recording this, there are massive firings happening in New York City. New York City, I feel, has become Gotham City. I don't know what that governor is doing over there. Well, he was fired, and now there's a new crazy in there. And de Blasio, all these vaccine passport, all these mandates. So 83,000 healthcare workers were fired today in the middle of a pandemic. There were 16% that were not vaccinated. So here's all of our heroes. They were praised. They were here at the beginning, working tirelessly during COVID when we didn't even understand what it was or what it did. A lot of these nurses, healthcare workers have natural immunity. They understand this virus. So in the middle of a pandemic, we're firing all these employees. And we have to ask ourselves why. Why is this happening? What do they know? Don't you think they would understand this virus more than half the people that are making all these ridiculous rules? So they're firing these people. And they're going to bring in the National Guard. And I heard they're going to bring in temp workers from the Philippines. How does this make sense? How are these people, all these people that have gotten the vaccine, how are they in a danger to people that are unvaccinated and people that have the vaccine? Isn't it supposed to protect them once you get the vaccine? What I know is the whole thing has been a complete bait and switch. The FDA has actually approved one, it's with the C, camaraderie or something. And then the one that's actually being used here in the United States is still under emergency use. The one that is FDA approved actually isn't even available in the States right now. So there's, the vaccine, listen, it's not working. It's not working. I mean, maybe it will potentially protect people from going to the hospital if they catch COVID. So, okay, if you want to get the vaccine, go get it. But what's happening now is they're forcing people they're losing their jobs, losing their livelihood, not allowed in public spaces, not allowed inside restaurants and bars. I mean, California, Newsom is going to have the vaccine passport in Los Angeles. And the thing is study shows that the vaccinated are still filling up hospitals. They're still dying from COVID. They can still spread and they can still catch it. So there's no difference. And actually, more vaccinated are ending up in the hospital. And the unvaccinated, the same thing. So how are we segregating society? It's modern day segregation that's happening right now. So what happened to bodily autonomy? And people should have a right to decide what they want to do with their health, what they want to do with their bodies. If they don't want to inject their bodies full of chemicals, they should not have to. That is their choice. A lot of people have recovered from COVID. They have strong antibodies in their system. And actually taking the vaccine can have really tremendous adverse effects on them. But nobody's even addressing this. Nobody's even talking about natural immunity. It's like, I'm not going to get chemotherapy for a cancer I might get down the road. I'm going to take care of my health. I'm going to take all my vitamins and supplements and get outside and healthy air and, vitamin D and all that stuff. I've prepared myself with a complete regimen of things to keep my immune system healthy during this. We're going to go into the fall. People get sick during the fall. So no one is talking. Nobody is talking about all the vaccine injuries that are happening. All you have to do is go to VAERS, which is a vaccine adverse events reporting system through the CDC, where less than 1% of actual events are actually reported. And there's been thousands of deaths, hundreds of thousands adverse events, neurological disorders. There's people that can't move their legs. They've got rashes all over their body. There's kids with the vaccine. They are getting myocarditis. They keep saying that, it's a rare breakthrough, but it's really not. They're at risk for heart inflammation or heart attacks. And once you have that, it's irreparable. The heart muscles do not repair themselves. So kids that have such a high percentage of survivability rate are being injected with this poison. And it just doesn't make any sense. And I keep still trying to wrap my head around it. And now the FDA, actually Pfizer, is pushing to get 5 to 11-year-olds vaccinated. Please, if you have kids, please do not do this to your child. Your children have the biggest survivability of COVID, almost at 100%. And kids, that's what they do. They touch things, they sample things, they get it, and then they recover from it. It strengthens their immune system. And what happened recently, there's this whole booster thing. So what's happening is actually it's shown that once someone's vaccinated, it's supposed to become viable in the body after 2 weeks, but they're showing after 6 weeks, it decreases and it eventually leaves the body. So what's really happening is this vaccine isn't having the effect that they had hoped it would. So to cover it up, they're blaming the unvaccinated. That makes no sense if you think about it. Somebody that's never had something is going to harm you that has gotten the vaccine, that it's supposed to protect you, but it doesn't, because they're rolling out these booster shots. So what's going to happen here is they've already been caught talking about it, the FDA and Pfizer and all these companies, about it being an endemic where there can continuously be treatment. So they're continuously going to boost out shots. There's going to be booster after booster after booster as they announce a new variant. But the thing is, you can never get ahead of these things, just like the flu. You can't get ahead of it. You can't keep injecting yourself with last year's strain. So what happened is COVID-19 has rolled out through the public. It's been out there. So right now we have the Delta variant, but yet we're going to inject people with the COVID-19 shots, but that's passed. We don't have anything for this new variant, the Delta variant. So what happened is there was an 8-hour hearing with the FDA, with scientists, health experts that were talking about these booster shots. They're talking about all the risk associated with it. There's no long-term studies for it, that it can be more harmful than good. And 2 FDA heads have quit over the possibility of these boosters being rolled out. So after these hearings, it was voted down 16-2 against these boosters. Yet the CDC director rolled them out and the government's rolling it out. You have to ask yourself why. They're recommending it against it, but yet it's like they're steamrolling past it. They're not even hearing hearing these people and these experts and all these doctors that are being censored. They just want you to inject this into your arm. Now think about it. Back when they were rolling out these vaccines, it's like, okay, they're available for people who want to take them. So I think this was the end game all along, to force people to get these vaccinations. So, and then they were like bribing people with lotteries and then like donuts and such like that. Well, now like they see how many people aren't taking it. It's all balls out. It's like everybody must take it. You're like a horrible person if you don't take it. We have seen that these vaccines, people that are vaccinated are still likely to spread and get it. Most people in hospital have been double vaccinated. I mean, I'm sure you know somebody that's been vaccinated and has caught COVID. And the thing is they're showing that the most vaccinated countries like the UK, Israel, Iceland, and the University of Harvard, almost vaccinated at 100% rate, had to just go on to online teaching because a lot of people are catching COVID. Hello. So can we please stop this crazy nonsense? Anytime I tune in, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm floored. I can't understand what the hell is happening here. And I know this is a little bit of a rant, but I just had to get it out there. And these vaccine passports, it's modern day segregation. If you listen to anything that these people in power have to say, it's complete lies. And there's a hypocrisy about one thing. Oh, we can go to the Met Gala, or we can go to the Emmys. We don't have to wear masks. And, or you catch them, just before the cameras turn on and they're all have their masks off. And then for the cameras, they put their masks on. I mean, that idiot in the White House, that's our president. I'm sorry. He is a complete idiot. He's a clown. They showed him getting boosters. I'm sure it was a saline injection, not even a real COVID booster, as even if there is one. And he was supposed to be getting in the White House, and they pull back and they show that it's set up on a stage. I mean, it's complete craziness. It's completely showing that there's rules for thee, but not for me. I mean, all the staff was wearing masks, and some parts of government are exempt from getting the vaccine, but yet all these federal workers are being forced to. And now the Border Patrol. I just got to laugh at this. I don't remember when it is. I think it's November 30th or something like that. They have to be vaccinated. So if you look at this, okay, so the border, we have a surge at the border, literally, and they're doing all they can, this Border Patrol, to hold back the tides of Haitian immigrants, which, by the way, are being released into our country with COVID and all these diseases. They're not being tested. So they're being released into our country, and all these migrants that are down there. And I mean, we're in a crisis here in America. We're letting all these people into our country and spreading all over the country. But yet a nurse that doesn't want to be vaccinated is losing her job, and she doesn't get benefits or health benefits or unemployment. It's a topsy-turvy world. So here we are, 1984 is upon us. Like, who knew that was going to be a prophecy? And it's back to 1942 Nazi Germany. How is this any different than how the Jews were treated? They were deemed to be unclean people, and they were made to wear a star on their chest to ostracize and divide people, from society. And that's happening now. Like in New York City, I believe it's about 70% of Black Americans are unvaccinated. And this whole push during these recent elections about Black Lives Matter. Oh, Black Lives Matter. Oh, it's racist to get ID, and it's white supremacy and all this. Well, you know what? 70% of Black Americans are not going to be able to go to restaurants, go to bars, get their groceries in New York City. So how is this okay? So what's happening right now actually is, I'm not a supporter of Black Lives Matter. I do not like that organization at all. They've got ties to some really bad, I don't know, they're just not good. I don't like them, but I love Black lives. I love all lives. So what's happening here is the Black Lives Matter in New York City are starting to push back, and they're taking to the streets. They're saying that it's, the vaccine passport is racist, and it's causing like social distancing and all that stuff. Well, you know what? It's not racist. It's a human issue. It's a human issue, but okay. At least, now we've got the support of BLM. However, it's not going to be pretty. They're threatening to do a Floyd-like demonstration like we did during the whole George Floyd episode where, restaurants were burned down and whole city blocks. So it's not going to end very well. So they're threatening to take to the streets. So I don't agree with violence of any type. I don't think businesses should be destroyed, or hopefully that's not going to happen. But Black voices are really powerful right now. And we've got NBA stars, athletes that are speaking up and just talking about how they're not going to get the vaccine and that it's their choice to get it, and politely giving the facts. And we've got some celebrities like Nicki Minaj just had cancel culture come after her. So all these people are really shedding light to who'd expected them to really be the people that sheds the light on what is happening here. So hopefully more people will stand up. And Duzen, I think that's how you say her name, she's a beautiful model, and she had spoken up. And, cancel culture came hard after her, but then they gained all the support from people that really want body autonomy and medical freedom. So what can we do? We need to push back and stand together and do not let them divide us, because that is all I hear coming from the people in power right now and the media. Divide, 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 divisive, divisive, divisive. So if you can separate people where they're not working as a whole, they can conquer us. And that is what is happening. So how do we push back? So I was happy to hear that there's 894 LA and police department employees that are fighting back, and they are suing the city over the vaccine mandate. And there's some really great people that are on their defense. And Dr. Peter McCullough is one, Robert Kennedy Jr. And, I really hope they win, because what needs to happen is all these institutions need to be sued, because this is the United States of America. It's completely unconstitutional what is happening. We the people, it does not mean we the government. I think we forgot that. And the thing is when we give up our bodily autonomy, our sovereignty in our own being, and we allow entities in the government to dictate what we do with them, we're lost. We're lost. We're no longer free. And this country was founded upon freedom for each person, each individual, to free speech, freedom of religion. There's the Nuremberg. It's Nuremberg 2.0 that is happening right now, but nobody is talking about it. Nobody is doing anything about it. So the thing to do is we need to create our communities. I think that's kind of been lost in this Western civilization, where I've traveled the world and I've seen it. Like I've seen it in other cultures in other countries. We need to band with like-minded individuals. We need to create our new systems, because if this is the way the world is going, maybe it's going to give birth to a new earth. All these displaced teachers, all these displaced nurses, healthcare workers, police, fire department. We will create our own earth where we use like holistic medicine, and we do things to regenerate and rejuvenate the earth, and we teach our kids how to be sovereign beings, and we don't indoctrinate our children, and we have this community and these like-minded individuals, and we can create heaven on earth that way. I think that's what's going to happen if they let us. I know there's like quarantine camps happening and all that. Let's hope. They have a really nefarious agenda in store for us. And let's hope that people really start opening their eyes and start banding together. I mean, there's other countries that give us hope because they've totally rolled back the vaccine. In Sweden, all vaccine passport is gone. There's no vaccine passport, and all COVID restrictions are done. I heard Ireland is going to remove them. There is a country that is labeling COVID as no more than a flu. Brazil is done with the fear mongering and the fear porn that's being pushed on people during this COVID. So some countries are standing up, but God bless the United States of America. I mean, maybe everything's being exposed, how bad it can get until the good people step in. So, there is good, there is good that's happening with all these people that have waken up because we had become complacent to all the things that were actually happening. I was unaware of everything. I was like little Pollyanna that was meditating and, all about collective energy, which is so important, but it's important to be awake now, and people are, and it's not a pretty process. So we need more people that are awakened, and, we're going to just have to join together and get through this and create something better than it was, because all this darkness is being flushed out and it's being brought to the surface to be transformed. And I plan to be one of the ones. I believe we're here for a reason, and we're here during this time to bring lightness and shine lightness into this darkness and lead those others that are asleep and help them wake up, and so we can lead the rest out of this darkness. And with that, I thank you for joining me. I know this was a little bit of a rant, and it's almost like it's a processing of a lot of the things that have been happening right now in this world, and I get really PO'd about it a lot of times. And, it's good to tune out of it for a while. And when I tune back in, I just get really upset. But I'm learning to be more of an observer and not let it send me into such a flight or fight mode, which it was. There were weeks where I'd wake up every day scared to death of getting a needle injected into my body. No government has the right to tell me what I should do with my body and what to put in it. When I've stayed healthy this entire time, I have not even gotten a flu in years and years. And I've kept myself healthy. And now you're going to try to inject me with something that could throw my autoimmune issues into a full tizzy or could kill me. That is one of the warnings about taking the vaccine that they don't show people. It's death. I'm sorry. No, it's not for me. And that is my right as an American citizen, as a human being with sovereign right over her body to decide, not the government and not anybody else. So everybody hang strong, whether you decided to get her or not, that's completely up to you. And I hope you're getting it because you just want to protect yourself from going to the hospital. Maybe you're at risk for it, but please, I hope you're not doing it to be coerced. So many people are coerced because they think they can't travel, or they think they won't be able to fly a plane, or they won't be able to go to restaurants. But how important are those things if you are injured for the rest of your life, or if you die? And what's happening is they're changing people's DNA, and that's not conspiracy theory. This is not a true vaccine. Not at all. And as each new booster gets rolled out, it's going to make people more and more sick. And they're going to blame it not on the vaccine, but the people who haven't gotten it, or they'll blame it on something else. So please wake up, open your eyes. Don't Google search, go to DuckDuckGo. Listen to these people that have been canceled. Why don't they want their voices heard? Don't trust the mainstream media. Don't listen to what the government is telling you. Listen to these doctors, America's frontline doctors, Dr. Peter McCullough. There's a lot of people, Robert Kennedy Jr., the Del Bigtree of the High Wire, and James O'Keefe from Project Veritas has whistleblowers, and they're exposing things inside the FDA and inside hospitals. And people are speaking up, but it's like the propaganda machine just washes over them. So do yourself a favor and do your own research. And if something smells fishy, it is. And that's what's happening in our world right now. And there's people like Zach Bush, when you're seeing all these healers and all these people that have dedicated their lives to health, and they're speaking up about it in their own way. So those are the people that I follow and I listen to because I trust them, and they're not getting paid off by all big tech or big pharma and all those. And another thing, how is Fauci still in office? Or how is he not in gulag? How has he not been tried for wars, crimes against humanity? Literally, they have traced back this whole coronavirus to him and his gain of function over in Wuhan, China. It is a fact. And he's still up there giving recommendations topsy-turvy world. That's all I'm saying. Don't listen to these people. They don't have your best interest at heart. And we go back to the awakened heart. That's just my little rant. So I just want you guys to all be healthy, happy, together, full of love. This nonsense that's going on in our world is it's just mind-blowing. So forget all that. Know of it, but don't let it affect you. Be in this world, but not of it. And that's an important lesson. So anyway, thank you for listening to me today. Like I said, a disclaimer, people that they have their own choices, like I said, and I'm not pro this or pro that. I'm about medical freedom. Everyone has their choice on what they want to do with themselves, especially when it comes to an experimental toxin they want to inject into your body that doesn't work. And enough with the government overreach and the power grab, because this is what it is. It's a whole power grab. Nothing adds up. But anyway, thank you for joining me today, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Awakened Heart Podcast. If you've enjoyed what you've heard today, share it with a friend. And if you haven't already, head on over to your favorite podcast app to subscribe, rate, and review. If you have any comments, questions, or feedback, you can reach me at theawakenedheartpodcast.com.